Welcome. So we're back again. It is July the 5th, and this month we're talking about self. A huge topic again. We don't play when it comes to topics. We're choosing the deep, spiritual, self-awareness topics, things you can get your teeth into and hopefully learn a bit from or inspire your own conversations. So this is the performance section of the podcast. And we're going to start with the wonderful I Am I.
Thank you. Thank you for hosting and bringing forth this topic, very necessary topic. I got two pieces that I'm going to do. The first one's going to be a poem that I wrote in right about now last week. It's titled Self. I think of myself and who am I? Really, who am I? Am I the name that I call myself? No, because others share the same name and we are not the same. Am I the thoughts I have? How can I be? To be is to exist, occur, or show the characteristics of something. Well, now we're cooking with grease. I must be a being. But what brought me into being? My parents, whose parents brought them into existence, whose parents brought them into existence, whose parents brought, wait, who's keeping track of all this? I should get on the track and record this. I recall whispers from a past life say it was written in my DNA to be this way, certified at birth in accordance with the cosmic DBA. We doing business as per humans do, as per usual. We move from the being to the doing, in the moment present to the task at hand, as these thoughts go from the mind of man, leave lead stains on the page and ideas conveyed from a language that's broken, stolen from the colonizer's tongue. I do my best to express myself while shaking the shackles away from post-traumatic slave syndrome that ain't where we came from, searching for the start. How do I impart the view to make a people move with a renewed sense of pride? Maybe I should start with myself. And who am I to have the notion that words spoken in rhyme could lead one to reason about the season? We in uncharted territory, behind enemy lines, under friendly fire, bartering souls for worldly desires, living like time won't expire until that pound of flesh is required. That's when we remember that's a power that's higher. And I'm far from sanctimonious, never claimed to be the holiest, only a dot on the I, if that, a grain in the sands of time, having a tick-tock experience, and the clock keeps clocking and time waits for no one and time is the master. So if I master time, who am I? Well, what about time as the father and Mother Nature giving birth to the creation myth? I brought a lifetime subscription to. Mind blown, big bang, busting off like interstellar, unprotected sex, raw as the day I was born in the mind. I am I.
So many bars.
Oh my gosh. I think that's the best one yet, man.
Yo,
thank you. That's what right about now do.
That was bars. That one right there. That was a wait. This grandparents. Whoa, who's keeping track?
Wait, right? What? Where did this all begin?
No, this is Omae, that dang, I don't know. I think dang, I like you rapping, you know what I'm saying? But spoken word, I don't know. Like
I'm
dang.
saying. I agree. I agree. Man, powerful, powerful, bro. Powerful.
Ooh,
Give thanks indeed.
dang. I was sitting here trying to write something just now. I was going to just let y'all do your thing because I ain't coming up behind that.
Yeah, you are.
Look, I was just not sitting there. Look, I'm sitting there trying to write something right now. Oh, you can't see. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
I love the layers. I love, I'll make sure I subtitle it as well, because I think, I said this before. You have to revisit it, because it's just bar after bar after bar after bar. And I love the bit about TikTok and time, and then you land on I am I, and it's like, yeah. Smashed it.
Who am I? Am I who I say I am? Am I who I call myself? And then the end of I am I. Yeah, that was like from the beginning to the end, how you opened it and closed that door. Mic drop. Stop.
It's like a journey from gestation to current. It was beautiful. It was like you finally found your way to yourself at the end. It was really, really, really picturesque, I should say. You could see it.
Return into self, for sure.
Yeah, it's cool.
And I think what I value in it is that it is. I think you can't really write something like that unless you are embodying that. That's what I enjoy about it, is that you do need to know what you're talking about to say that stuff, and you can really tell that you know what you're talking about and that you're living that spiritual journey of self.
In that way, for sure. It really is the journey of returning to self, because I had a conversation in the park with someone yesterday. I was at an event called International African Arts Festival, and dudes from West Africa, I noticed him in the park earlier. We didn't even share a glance, but then he came back. He said, "Oh, were you working over there?" I was like, "No." But then the conversation evolved into it was centered in love. Self came up as well, and how we have to really just be and let go of all of the expectations and all of the definitions we try to use. Because in the beginning was the word, but before the word was sound. So sometimes we just have to be quiet and listen for that sound and return to self.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like your poem was very like fluid, and I think that kind of like you can see that with like who you are, who you like your being, it changes so much that like to hold yourself down with like rigid statements about your personality, it kind of stops like development. So I really liked how like your poem was like moved through and like changed. And as you said, you opened up with a bunch of questions about who you are and ended with a simple statement, I am I. And I think that just like solidified like that's like the only thing really that you can concretely say who you are, you know what I mean? So yeah.
True indeed, true indeed. Yes. Give thanks for all of the feedbacks, a compliment, and we're gonna move right along into some raps. I got a song that I released yesterday called Authentic, and this one it's a special one to me. I did the rhythm, the beat from loops here and there, dropped in some bubble rising, and you know what, let me stop explaining and just get into it. So let me share this audio. Okay. Y'all let me know if y'all hearing that. I'm the only one of me, and I'm the only one I wanna be. Authentic. Find my purpose now, I walk in it. I don't do it unless my heart in it. And you know I keep it authentic. Authentic. Nah, they ain't lie. I done came a long way from cutting up, getting high. Getting close to the Lord since the birth of my child. And I can't lose with God by my side. Yeah, I lost people that was close to me, cause angels watching over me. I gotta focus, B. Cause young me gotta take care of the older me. That's how it's supposed to be. You live to grow and see. Life will learn you a lesson. I thank the Lord for my blessings. Pray to God for protection. And when we walk with faith, no need to walk with a weapon. So just know I'm prayed up when I'm stepping in. I'm stepping in the name of the Most High. Sharp with it, black tux with the bow tie. When you know yourself, that's when you know God. And we just multiply. Now I'm gonna die authentic. Found my purpose, now I walk in it. Put my spirit and my heart in it. And you know I keep it authentic. Authentic, when it's authentic, that's when you feel it, cause it's hard in it. I put my spirit and my all in it. Nah, we ain't just talking it. 10 toes on the ground, man, he walking it. And it's G-O-D that he walking it. The big homie, that's how I got mine. I'm on God time, not on .com. Peak pie, drop mine. You from the school of hard knocks, life will learn you a lesson. I thank the Lord for my blessings. Pray to God for protection. And when we walk with faith, no need to walk with a weapon. So just know I'm prayed up when I'm stepping in. I'm stepping in the name of the Most High. Sharp with it, black tux with the bow tie. When you know yourself, that's when you know God. And we just multiply, now we don't die. Authentic. Found my purpose, now walk in it. I don't do it unless my heart in it. And you know I keep it authentic. Authentic. That's authentic.
Okay. Very 90s, very 5%er vibes.
Love that.
Immediately. That was a vibe.
Thank you very much.
You got that sound in it that I love, that bubble sound or whatever it is. That like that sound.
Yeah,
and to me, is that like that sounds very New York to me. Is that incorrect?
It can be, I guess so.
Nah,
I just go off of things like
man.
it's
man.
not even.
Give it to New York, man.
It's definitely, that's where I'm from. Yeah. But you know what I'm leaning into is also in reggae. You'll hear some stuff like that.
Yeah.
With like the laser or the bubble rising. So it's who I am.
Yo, I swear it's got Common Mos Def vibes. Like that, like Mos Def Common.
I wasn't going for that, like, but hey, I take it.
It's that swag. It's like a I don't know, it's like a lean back chill vibe, like clean, but you saying something. Like that's what I love about Common and Mos Def. Like they mad calm, cool, like they on when they flow, but they when you listen to what they saying, they always saying something. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's a fact, 100%.
Yeah, and it's got that big beat sound. Like, because I listen to a lot of New York rap. A lot of the rappers that I like are New York in truth. And it's that kind of soundtrack sound. You know, that filmic vibe.
I was going for that. The cinematic type of feel.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right up my. That tune was heavy.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm glad y'all like it.
Authentic. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go to the page and bump that one again.
Oh yeah, it was really good. I really liked it. I was getting down. The beat was very nice.
Adriana, does it that because you're from the South, right?
Yeah.
Because I love that. That sound reminded me as well of that kind of that H-Town sound where they like manipulate the voice. Is that a down south sound?
It depends on the artist. Like I know Outkast is heavy on that. 3 6 Mafia, but it's all super 90s, right? Which is makes sense. I mean, you are being who he is, the way it comes from. But that grit, I don't know, man. It was very 90s, Nas, Jay-Z type vibe, like when they were really talking about something. You know what I mean? but also had that cool, calm, and collected sort of poetic delivery. So yeah, that's what I was picking up. Rumble, young man, rumble. That was dope.
Hey.
That was dope.
You cannot doubt your musical prowess, I. It is
Oh no,
undoubted,
for sure.
mate.
There's no doubt, no doubt about that.
Yeah. Thank you so much. We love that. So we're going to move straight on to Adriana. Thank you, Adriana. You're performing some poetry.
I am. I'm gonna let this one speak for itself, and y'all will understand why once I get into it. But the title is Paradox People, and the definition of paradox for the people: a seemingly absurd or self-contradictory statement or proposition that, when investigated or explained, may prove to be well-founded or true. So that is who we are, and that is what this piece is based off of. I'm a walking, talking contradiction. But guess what? So are you. So is the sun. So is the moon. Light and darkness. Greatness and gloom. Balance. What you need in order to properly breathe. Step outside yourself to see that both joy and pain are needs. Hard to believe because our blindness takes over. Narcissistic ambitions, we're told, makes us stronger. Lies. Did you know that lots of wealthy people suffer in silence? Money's not the cure for mental despondence. So what is? The answer is the one no one likes. The one that makes you lie, cheat, steal, commit crimes, reenact abuse you learn from family ties, generational, mental, verbal, physical, sexual, spiritual, habitual abandonment of young and old. The one that makes you argue, shame, pick fights. The part that makes you think you have to drink every night, smoke blunts every day without a minute spent sober, do lines of cocaine to present yourself as bolder, using syrup, meth, or heroin as a means of escape, seeking numbness from the oxy perks or Xannies you take, fentanyl you try, embalming fluids you dip, on the cigarette you puff, inviting poison to your lips. The cause for endless spending to appear like you got it. Rock the latest labels while your bills are forgotten. The reason why you had to have a second bag of chips, honey bun and M&Ms, soda, extra dip. In addition to the Chick-fil-A you ordered on demand because going in or driving through was more than you could stand. Avoiding the mirror, accepting your fate after rejection from doctors for drugs to lose weight. Makeup, dental care, hair care, lip care, skin care, plastic bodies. Is a real person in there? Addicted due to the chemicals injected in it all, designed to keep you insecure, sick, and blind to the cause. The FDA, Big Pharma, charities like American Red Cross, the NRA, and hospitals are all involved. The sick care system getting paid from every angle, with marketing campaigns designed to blame you. Drawn to music with no feeling, described as vibes, provoking you to party, sex, and drug till you die, persuading you against yourselves, women versus guys, driving you to hate if they're trans, gay, or bi. Then, when asked for a reason, you never really know why. You just repeat what you heard while being hypnotized. No time for thought or logic. That's lame and outdated. So is education. If there's substance, you hate it. Can't repeat the lyrics from most of your favorites. If it's shedding light on truth, a hippie or slave must have made it. Blinking through confusion after hours on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. You're controlled by a psyop that pushes you to binge TV apps and games, depleting you of focus and control of your brain. Religious views used to promote division, distorting its purpose to suit personal visions. Little do they know that if they took the time to look, there are many similarities to every text and book. They omit details disproving what's been pushed as facts as a means to keep you from discovering that science, numerology, magic, divination, nature, meditation are all God's language. When they mention the devil and say you're going to hell, remind them that the devil created himself, a fallen angel who fell from grace by making wrong choices in sacred space. All people are accepted, no matter who they love, no matter where they come from. Dividing came from us as a means to divert us all based on class. All the different isms are based on caste, designed by a few power-hungry elites to keep us in the dark behaving like sheep. No, this isn't judgment, just conscious observation of all the different methods used to keep us from facing ourselves as a whole instead of fragile, broken pieces, determined to distract ourselves from slowing down to see it. The root of our affliction stemmed from wounds that never healed due to lack of guidance on how to really deal. We were told to be strong. Don't think about it. Don't cry. Do your best not to feel it and you will get by. Don't talk about the pain. That's nobody's business. Lessons from our friends, caregivers, and kindred who don't mean any harm. They're only stating what they're taught, which is why it's so important not to look for blame or fault. Spinning wheels of avoidance and missing the keys to unlocking the treasure of who we're meant to be. It starts with understanding who we really are inside, loving every facet so we don't have to hide, looking at our darkness as a passageway through the necessary tunnels to achieve the best view of us as individuals and us as a people, dirty and clean, transformations and breakthrough, learning from loss instead of living resentful, paying the cost to reassemble your temple, amend your transgressions, mitigate aggression, eradicate the cycle so our future is protected, educate the children on the truth so they get it, let them learn from your life so you don't regret it. Let me be the guinea pig. I want to motivate change. I once was a prisoner. My mind was a cage, morbidly obese, suicidal, dark, unable to feel, shattered in parts, witnessed and was molested at 8, 9, and 10, 11, bipolarity and disassociating. Early teens, I attempted to take a life, then tried and tried my own, but I never did it right. Inappropriately touched a younger child, knew it was wrong and carried that guilt for miles. Stole with pride, manipulated, lied, was a cutter, binge eater, fantasized my demise. Cigarettes, drinking, all day smoking weed, skipping school, moved out by 17. Never was like the crowd, so I lived outside. Anything not black, I hid inside. Pop wasn't really around at the time. Mom was distant, depressed, and beat by a guy she chose every time. Loved to read and write, but other subjects I struggled. Didn't know ADHD was the source of my trouble. Graduated, worked, still tried to fit in. Hood stereotypes and codependence until I chose distance. Got a real friendship that taught me the real, began a new ascension. Lost the weight, started traveling, then mentally unraveling, and got to the point where I started battling all my coping mechanisms that no longer worked. Got tired of faking like it all didn't hurt. Always knew that I was different. Always felt like a fraud. Every wrong turn I took, I knew were facades. I lied when I started, said I got in therapy for drugs, but knew all along what it really was. I had to get to know the real me inside that, due to abuse, stepped aside. I carried all my faults and knew I was depressed, but everything else, little me, repressed. I just started learning how to feel blocked emotions when I learned the harsh truths that broke me open. Got a psych evaluation that opened that door. A month later, went manic, spent a week on the 5th floor. That doubled as awakening, Kundalini style. That's when I learned my purpose and made the vows I'm keeping now. Divinely guided by God with many spiritual gifts, designated to be used for moments like this. I never would have known if I didn't choose to learn. Yes, it was a lot, but it forced me to earn every bit of my light. I choose to shine right now to help others like me who don't know how, others like me who think they're unlovable, incapable of changing, doomed to do what others do, see themselves as demons but angelic inside, think that due to their past, they're forever forced to hide, unable to see the best of themselves, whose misguided actions are desperate cries for help. I'm a living, breathing testimony. But guess what? So are you. If you choose to do the hard work to become your best you.
Amazing.
That was so good. That was so deep. Like it changed from like deep topics to other deep topics, and like I was like, oh my gosh, the whole time. Yeah, that was really powerful. That was really powerful.
I took
Thank you.
notes. Yeah. I literally was here, pencil in hand, and
I
I'm like,
appreciate
oh
that.
no, rock the latest label while your bills are forgotten. Science, meditation, divination, God language. I'm like, oh, okay. But you know what really stuck out to me? It was a part you talked about the real me inside stepped aside. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking like self, like, man, yeah, how many times do we do that when
Right.
something gets too much for us, right?
Especially as children. You have no idea. That was the wildest thing. I'd always heard about repression and kids doing that, but never thought that I was capable or that that could have happened to me. And lo and behold, that was legit my story. I didn't know half of that until like a year and a half ago. Yeah,
Yeah,
but worth it. Worth it.
it made me think about something Victoria said in Right About Now. It was myself, Victoria, and I Am I. And it fits in beautifully. I'll be posting it next week, but it fits in beautifully with your piece, Adriana, because she was saying that she feels like she spent her whole life trying to get back to herself. That all that trauma made herself like you expressed, and I just highlighted, like, go to the side, and then it's trying to heal to actually return back into yourself. And I love the way, because you literally hit every vice that exists.
That's what I
Adriana
mean by
listed
it took
them
a life of
all.
its own. But no, I have to talk about this and this and this. And like it wasn't me. Like it wasn't just me. I was definitely divinely guided writing this thing, man. Like, no, you talk about everything and you tell them the truth. Like, okay.
Do
Will
you
do.
know? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
What it made me think about was in the way that you did that made me think. Look how deeply. Can you imagine what it takes for us in this society to actually be self, like in the highest spiritual way? When you drop it like that, one thing after another, after another, after another, after another, after another, I'm just thinking, how many of them have I got going on? What do I need to delete? Because I know that through deleting it, it's going to bring me back to a better sense of self, spiritual self. But we're in a society as well, I think, where it's all right. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, it's all right.
Yeah.
But you never get to see your full spiritual self that way, do you? Because there's always something holding you back. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I was talking to mom about this actually, that this week I've been kind of bombarded with like images of like consumerism. Like I watched a movie and they were talking about consumerism, and then read my book and it was talking about consumerism, and I talked to mom about it because I bought something recently, and then the minute I got it, I was like, oh, on to the next, and I was like, hold on, that's not a good way of thinking about things. Like now I've got something, now I immediately want something else. And when you were talking about like all the things and then ended up like linking it to big pharma and like the health things, that's like those things, they kind of like make you feel like you need all these things in your life and that you need these things to be who you are or to like fit in with people. But it's just a way for them to kind of get the money from you, and it doesn't really matter what's happening with yourself if you feel distant from who you actually are. It's as long as they're getting that money off you, then they're winning. And yeah, especially because I've been talking to mom about that a lot, like plastic surgery, especially about how it's like all that money that people are spending, and it could go on like donating it to help other people. Like there's so many other places it could go to. But yeah, that was so many topics, as mom said. There was so many.
If more people
100%.
your age bracket think like you, will be just fine. Because you got it. You absolutely got it. I'm happy that you got it. That's awesome. I think we'll be okay. There's enough of you guys out there that will be just fine.
I'm grateful mom raised me this way.
Yes.
We have deep conversations on the daily.
We won't go there. And it's the village that we talked about before. You know, the village. I'd love to say, yes, it's all me, but it's not. You know, she's got cousins, female. I was saying earlier to my friend, actually, around that vanity thing and the craziness of the vanity of modern society, you know. And I was saying that Omae doesn't and Millie don't have that about them because they're cousins, my nieces, all of them are high achievers academically and career. Like the couple that aren't doing the academics, they're doing apprenticeships and things like that. You know, they've got their heads on, they're naturally beautiful, they're not augmenting themselves in any way. So I think they're probably more influential than obviously me as mom. I'm influential. But I think when they look to their older cousins who are like in their early 20s and early 30s, what they see is inspiring. So that helps to keep their heads on.
Absolutely. All right, Tone, what you got?
I do know.
Cause kindred spirits, what you got?
But you know, of course they already said it because the fact that you did go into so many different topics, but you kind of threw me for a loop. You grabbed my attention when you went into the whole health thing or whatever. I was like, oh yeah, that was good. But then when you went into the whole games on the app, I felt like you was talking directly to me. Like, dang, I do be on that game too much. But it was good because we Sister Caroline said, we don't realize how many of these things we fall into, right? So if you think that you might have it all together, like, yo, you good, like, yeah, I don't drink, I don't do drugs, and I don't drink, so you know what I'm saying? Or like, I don't watch movies so much, so like I'm good. But you may be scrolling too much or be hooked on games or just eating unhealthy or just something as simple as just not taking 15 minutes in the morning to meditate or to stretch out your body or whatever is just as bad as sitting on the phone and scrolling. You know what I'm saying? So I love so many different levels of that poem. So many different levels. I love all your poems, of course, but this one kind of seemed like it was like a finale type of poem, like a poem to like close out a chapter or a book or something, like, you know, like as a whole. You know what I'm saying? So, but I felt like it spoke to me too. It spoke to me like, yes, I do want to be more relax with myself, and I do want to, but at the same time, like, don't get too complacent, don't get too relaxed. There's still things that you can easily get distracted in, quote unquote, like loving yourself, because it could be loving yourself. I need to be more lenient with myself, and you know what I'm saying? I could take a break, and then taking a break leads into I find myself playing this game a little bit more than I should, and you know what I'm saying? So I love that poem for so many different reasons, but it's
I appreciate it.
I, do you have anything to add? Thank you, Cynthonia.
No problem.
I'll just add that, like, even with the notes I took, it still wasn't enough to be able to get the whole thing. I think it's another one, like you said about Minds, where it's on the rewatch where I'll be able to get the depth of what she was saying, because Sister Adriana was dropping it for sure.
And thank you, Omae. It really made, on reflection, listening to everybody's comments as well, it brought me the feeling after you read it, during it and after, was chaos. And what Cynthonia just said as well reminded me that it's like the balance of trying. I don't know if anybody else ever feels this way, but you can be doing really well as well with these things. But it's like that quest for perfection, that quest to get there, to do it right. And then this is what goes through my mind, right? And then it's like, what am I doing to my vibration with this now? Because now I'm in guilt and shame because I haven't meditated this morning. Oh no. And then I should be meditating. You know, that's the, I can have a daily battle with that sometimes.
Yeah. I think we all do. I think this was the purpose of this was to be it was supposed to be a mirror, but it's also to kind of give you that leeway of understanding as long as you're trying, you're okay. But be conscious of these outside forces that push you to distraction. Like in your case, like you've been struggling a lot with, personal life and personal stuff. And that sort of thing can get in the way. Or with the games, like one game turns into 10 games and you're on it for 4 hours. That's by design. And once you start to pay attention to that piece of it, like that with the socials, that with the food and ads and all of those things, that's when you start to kind of reel yourself in and really realize what's important. And that's how you can, for lack of better words, get outside of yourself to really see yourself and understand what it is that you can control and what you can't. And release that weight that doesn't belong to you, because it doesn't. A lot of it doesn't. We carry a lot of weight that does not belong to it, and we could just give it back, and it will give us a lot of release. That is definitely something that I've personally been working through, and it's worked wonders, truthfully.
So what have you been doing to work through it?
Man, so well, you and I know, like we kind of vibe on the metaphysical side of things. There's a lot of that that's been going on, like a lot of that. Not like a lot of things that just will probably make sense later. But just releasing and making sense of things. Like I am moving. I'm moving in less than a month. I think I brought that up with y'all a while ago. I'm quitting the job. The job has already got the notice. You know what I mean? I'm going into completing my book and putting out this information because this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to be that person that says the things that other people don't say. Like, I realize that a lot of what I say, most people would be like, yo, that's too much. What do you know what I mean? But somebody has to be first. Somebody has to be the one that shows you that it's nothing to be ashamed of if you've done the work to work through it. Now, if you're like someone who just sits in that and decides that that's your life, then the karma that you receive, it is what it is. But if you are like me and just know that you are something different, that what your actions aren't reflecting who you are, and you do the work to find out who you are, you will get there. And the universe will help you. I think that's the easiest way I could think to describe it. That's been the work for sure. That's what's pulled me out of me as of late.
Wowzers.
Yeah, man.
That's superb.
Yeah.
And I think this group is a reflection. I think we're all helping to facilitate each other's growth.
Absolutely. We definitely in alignment. I wanted to point that out too. Like it's interesting how I Am I did his thing with questions and answers and took us on a journey, and I literally did the same thing. I thought that was dope. Even in his music, the same thing. Like there's always been something very synchronistic about this group. So very appreciative of it.
Wait till you hear my piece that I wrote in the same right about now as I Am I. he read his and then I read mine, and it was like, whoa, how is this happening? And you know, there is, you've said it before, that you're coming to the group and something I'm saying, you've been thinking. The last right about now, Victoria was saying stuff, and that had literally been my thought process for the whole week, everything that she was saying. Cynthonia and I regularly are in sync. When I watched her promo, I was like, Cynthonia, because it was everything I was going to say. I was like, why? This is what happens when you go last. You know, and even what I was saying in his piece about time, for myself, that's been big, just realizing how, and you mentioned it, Adriana, a moment ago, about, it's a concept I've always struggled with, this whole thing that time is relative and it's not linear and it's not real, and we've got all these things happen, they're all happening at the same moment. And Omae talking about being present in her promo, and things like the synchronicities that happen between us, for me, are examples of the veil being pulled back.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I was gonna say also, I do this, I've told mom so many times that she does this to me all the time, that like I'll be like throughout the day thinking about a bunch of things, I'll be on the bus thinking, and then I'll come home and go to talk to mom about something, and then she'll bring up something I've literally been thinking about all day, and I'm like, I was thinking about that. And it is really weird that how when you're like connected with people in like a spiritual way, you can kind of do that, because my friends do it as well. Like I'll be thinking something, they'll say it before I say it. I do it with my sister a lot, like we'll say some like the exact same thing at the same time in the same like tone. And it is really like, yeah, that spiritual connection, how yeah, it can show you that it's not all how it seems, how yeah, you're crazy.
Without taking the conversation somewhere else, because I know that it can go there, I would just say we are in a time period where people aren't realizing just how spiritual things are getting. And those that are getting it and are tapping in are reaping the benefits of that. Those that aren't are reaping the consequences. It's just a truly a beautiful but complex thing to see, for sure.
Well said.
It reminds me of oneness, what Omae was talking about, just being able to finish someone's sentence or having something brought up that you were thinking about throughout the day. Oneness really jumped out to me to say that.
Yeah, because it is the way it is, and then we've been programmed out of it. So it's like what Omae said about your sisters, like me and my older sister particularly, when we were younger, used to always say things at the same time. We've gone out separately shopping and come back and bought the same items, you know. And it is that, it's the telepathy thing as well. You know, these are actually natural things, but like Adriana's piece demonstrated, there's an abundance of distractions, you know, to take us away from that. And I think people that live more naturally or in more indigenous cultures, it's not a big light bulb moment for them. It's just life. It's like drinking water or walking down the road or walking, you know, going for a walk or climbing a tree. It's just what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It only seems like this big thing for us because we've been led down a road so hard to not believe it, you know. So that was brilliant. All right, so
Very, but
sorry, say that again, my dear.
oh, you can go ahead. I was just saying that it's been buried and now it's being unearthed, for lack of a better word.
And the spiritual path, you know, when you're doing this work, you and I have talked about this. You got to be steadfast and you got to trust in the Most High, because the more your eyes open and your eye opens, the more, like, I've had many moments where I'm like, I'm like in my house, like, are you for real? Like, nah. And I just sit and I laugh to myself, like, this is some joke thing, because it's so obvious that, like, there's other things that are going on, you know. But again, I think, like some people say, Dr. B says it a lot, that some things aren't to be spoken. And I think we know that intuitively as well, that you have some experiences, spiritual experiences, that are just for you. You don't share them. So we're going to move on. So this is Chord Self, written in Right About Now with I Am and Victoria. Imagine a life without mirrors, no reflections of imperfections or scrutinizing minute parts and comparison. Go inside, go deep, look inward, truth seek. Breathe deep, exhale slow, smell the roses, take a stroll. Put those toes on earth, fast and take control. Without mirrors, I see my reflection. Without eyes, I hold vision. Within walls, fly free. Where doors close, use your key. Eyes are thrice, lies divide. Frequency is your frequently. Higher vibes emanate out from inside. Above and below, within and without. Clarity shouts when quiet is clout. Listen and observe, manage reserves, and never, hear me, ever, put others in front of the love for self that you hold. Don't be good, be true. Don't impress, be you. Authentic moves are the only proof to prove. Self. I equals we equals they equals why. Why equals how equals if equals when. Sin is committed to self within. See stars at night through closed lids tight. Hold the child inside close, loving them more than they'll ever know. Loving them strong enough to grow. Cuddling away the cold, embraced in warmth, in love, we know. A forgotten mind just awoke. Ancestors whispered DNA codes. Spirit guides move in tandem, dancing maps into mind like ships in the night. You are not alone, although you are. We are all connected while all apart. Experiential knowledge, esoteric explorations from the heart, unknown knowns, known from the start. Explore, discover, experiment, deliver, self.
Wow, you were not lying. Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. We are in tandem today. Wow.
And I got
Beautiful.
something different this time than when we shared at Right About Now, because you said, without mirrors, I see my reflection, right? And then you also brought up something about don't be good, be true. With that, I'm thinking authenticity, because you even went further and lean into that. And what I shared today about the rap the name of the song was Authentic. And just being our authentic selves is something that I think is more important than trying to do the right thing or be good. So yesterday in the conversation that I was talking about, the guy also brought up something about, he asked a question and said, would you rather go to heaven if you could choose with a troublemaker or a saint? And I thought for a minute. I said, throughout my experience in life, I've had more fun with troublemakers. So I'm choosing the troublemaker if I could choose, right? And the troublemaker isn't necessarily a bad person. They just cause excitement. They live on edge. And that's being true to them. That's their authentic self. I also added when he asked that, because I tell my son this sometimes. In the book, I'm not versed in the Bible, but I do always pull up the point that it makes about saying the kingdom of heaven is within.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not about so much a place of trying to go, but a place to return to.
Smashed it. Yeah. I
The
smashed it
equation
so
was
hard,
also
I've gone
super
silent.
important.
Sorry, go on, Adriana.
Oh, I was just the equation that you put together, the I plus we equals what, like that was genius. First of all, brilliant, but it also speaks to how interconnectedness works if you allow it to, because there's so many people that go against it, and that's why your frequencies are off, that's why your balance is off, that's why you can't figure certain things out. You just sometimes have to let things be in order to become a we. That was beautiful. It was really well written. Well done.
Thank you. And like you, I can't ever claim it. I just sit there and just let it come through, And I love the kind of spiritual learnings, teachings that I've been able to access in the last few years, because it's the affirmation that is the process. It's the affirmation that there are other forces that work through me. I am but a vessel,
Absolutely.
Can I just say, both of you and Adriana and Omae, y'all both said my two favorite parts too. Like, but I have no eyes I can see. Where he said like it like trapped in the wall, but fly like free, like that, like it was like yin yang, like trapped and free at the same time. Like it was like uh I don't know, it was like being in prison but still being free at the same time. Like, but that part, that part was so. But again, anyway, in a nutshell, you guys are just dropping bombs in y'all poetry today. Like y'all went like in like problems. This is it. Like either you asked a question or you brought attention to a situation, and then you either spoke on the authenticity of yourself and why all these questions, you answered these questions by being your authentic self throughout the poem or whatever, and you said, boom, this is who I am. Or you stated like this is a problem. You want to learn, or you want to love yourself or learn yourself. Like these are all the issues, and then like in that exposing that, but then also giving ways on solutions, like what you should do, how you should move, and the things that you should. And you guys dropped like you guys didn't play around. Like you guys are very intentional and very direct and very clear and concise in how you delivered that. And there's like you guys all did amazing. But Sister Caroline, of course you ain't disappointed.
Well, I think we've what we all know and what we've all said is that there's only one way to self, and that is to go in. You're never going to find it outside. You have to go in. And I think we've talked about before, Cynthonia, your experience with going to prison.
Mm-hmm.
What can seem like a curse to me, I regularly give thanks for this group, and I regularly give thanks for you, because you are a high spiritual being, and your humility is part of the evidence of that. Because I think people that are up there don't always even know they're up there. You know what I mean? I think that tallies with this whole group. And I would say that for myself as well. When the Most High was telling me, know who you are, I was like, who am I? I'm no one, you know, but we're all someone, but we're all no one at the same time.
I get you.
Melting into the one. But when you get together a group of people who are doing, this is where spirit really reveals itself, that are doing that work, because you have to, it's work. It doesn't just happen. You have to be doing the work. But when we come together, magic happens and spirit reveals itself even more, you know. It's a you know, like Adriana said, there's magic in the air right now, you know. You know that song, I can feel it in the air.
Yeah, no, I can. Yeah, I can feel it, boy.
I've been rinsing that tune lately because
yeah, that's what I was thinking. I
love that
this
song
quite a
too.
bit recently.
Everyone's like, I know the song because Mom's been playing it 10 times a day. But I can feel it in the air, you know. I can see what's coming, you know, and what I've enjoyed is my own growth, but also watching all you guys' growth. Because for me, I think we've all grown in the time that we've been connected and sharing space. I can see it in all of you as much as I can see it in myself, you know. And it's not an everyday or an easy process to pull this level of quality together in terms of people. It's divine.
That's true.
All right, let's see if I can get this tune. Like my voice, when I did my promo yesterday, I was so tired I couldn't even think straight. Right, I was there like I recorded it about 5 times, and I sound like Marge Simpson on it. So I'm not sure how this is going to sound, but I'm going to give it a try. Anything you want to say while I sort this out, Omae?
Glad you asked. I did want to say I really like the focus on authenticity from you, I Am I, and from you, Mo. I really like I was talking to my friend about this, how sometimes people think that like sometimes people think that like how they appear is more important. But I think like when I'm with my friends and when I'm with my family and things, like it's who that person is. And even like when someone's being authentic and you're also authentic in yourself, you'll accept like the flaws of the other person. You'll accept that, oh, okay, well maybe they don't like to do this and they don't like to behave in that way, but it doesn't matter because that's their authentic self. And I think it's like the differentiation between being a good person and living your truth and being true. I think sometimes people try too hard to be nice all the time and to like appease people, but actual people, when they're like love themselves as well and when they're authentic themselves, they actually enjoy when people actually go, oh no, I don't like that, or that's not for me, or like people, yeah, people being authentically themselves is one of the best things that someone can do, I think. So yeah, I really like that. That's been the focus. It's been really good.
Yeah, it's programming, isn't it? Cynthonia.
No, because Omae, you got a good head on your shoulder. Thank God, right? Because I think I agree so much. Like I think being your most authentic self is like top like things you could do, because when you're your authentic self, you are inviting the people that's supposed to be around you, and you're excluding the people who are not supposed to be around you from being around you. When you could be your more, and that's like the start of having a more fluid life or a more bumpy life, is the people that you surround yourself with. That's like the beginning of that. So if I could be, a lot of my problems, even going to prison, was me just being a father, not being my authentic self. Every bad thing that's ever happened to me in my life has been a result of me not being my authentic self, whether it be in a situation or in a choice that I made. So I agree with that. Like, and even and what you said was so true, because I have friends that there are so many things that get on my nerves. But I know that there are things that I get on their nerves about, even though I feel like it's better, but it's better for me. And the things that they are and the things that they do, it's for them. But I trust them. I trust that they're gonna be exactly who they are because they always their authentic self, whether I like it or not. So I could deal with somebody like that.
I second that, everything you said. Took the words right out of my mouth. The day you start following and start leading your own life is the day you live a better one. Period.
Yeah, man. I think culturally as well. I mean, we're a band of misfits, our family, my immediate family, headed by my mom, Omae's nanny. And my nanny, oh my days, my nanny was a character and a half. But I think around the world, it's a very kind of European Western thing of trying to fit in. But I think most of the rest of the world, and I see that with my friends from India, my friends from Pakistan as well. You know, you're encouraged to just be yourself. You know, it's entertaining, it's fun, and people like that, the weird character, the strange characters. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, I joke about Millie and some of her ways, but honestly, the amount of times I've sat at home on my own and I remember something and I would just laugh my head off for half an hour at her funny little things that that child, when she was little, I used to just say to myself, I wish I could just be in her head just for an hour and just see things from her perspective, because she's always had this unique perspective. And her best friend at school now is literally, isn't she, Omae? She's a reflection. She is just as.
Yes. Yes.
Give thanks. And I'll say the same about this group. Going to the podcast discussion now. So I'll just close it off by saying that was wonderful performance section. I really enjoyed everybody's pieces and the deep discussion. And we're now going to go into the podcast discussion.